Yo, 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 thanks for tuning in to the 19th episode of J Talks Crypto. And sorry for that super hype intro. I'll tone it down. I'm still going crazy because we ghetto as hell. Let me just do this with a $15 tripod. I think it was $15, probably less than that. But today, I am going to be talking about a little bit more about Bitcoin mining because a lot of the knowledge is still fresh. Seems like there's a lot of questions about it, a lot of misinformation, and not many people are really talking about it. So, should I mine? Is Bitcoin mining for me? Will I make money if I mine Bitcoin? How should I mine Bitcoin? These are all questions that most people have, especially at this point. I'll say that the very first one is like, with Bitcoin, when I first got in 2018, Bitcoin was $3,200, and I felt like I was late. And I remember, Bitcoin mining back then, I thought I was late too. I was just like, getting out was, getting in was just, I'm just like, you got to spend $50 on a USB. You're going to make 0.00000 or whatever. It's going to take forever to break even. But now you look at those Amazon reviews, and you see how much these guys were hashing with a couple of giga hashes. I'm talking about some of them over here making 800,000 satoshis a day or something with a fucking shitty ass USB. I'm just like, dude, what? The halving isn't priced in, and no one's gonna tell you this. But if in my opinion, if your mining strategy is mine and hodl, and you don't mind having a long time preference, if you're looking at ROI in a year, mining ain't for you. Mining ain't for you at all. If you're probably watching this video, you're probably a small guy just like me, and you got to compete. And the only way that you can compete with these guys is to out hodl them. A lot of them have bigger, giant operations with really, really large overheads. And what we need to do is we need to put in our hash power, take our fair share of the block reward, and hodl it. And that's the simple part. It's really, really funny. I'm telling you, go look up any old ASIC on Amazon, or go to old ASIC threads on the Bitcoin Talk forums and see what you were mining with even 3 or 4 years ago, with a couple of giga hashes. It's literally crazy, what the power that mine and hodl has. Obviously, you need to be aware of your electricity costs, but I just think that we're still so early in terms of the actual mining ecosystem, the mining business. We've gone through how many halvings? It was the first one, the first block reward was 50, so the first halving was at 25. The second halving was at 12. We're at the third halving now with 6.25. I feel like an idiot that I wasn't mining when the block reward was 12.5. That's when I found out about it, and I knew about the halving, and I still didn't do it. And so that's I have all these hobby miners over here, and I'm pushing smaller hash rates. But it's going to be interesting to see what these small hash rates get me a year after the next halving. That's when I'm looking at it. I'm looking at this with a 5 to 10 year window. Think about it if you buy a laptop, how often are you going to use that laptop? You're going to buy it, and you're probably going to hold on to that laptop and use it for like a whole bunch of crap for like 5 years. So why would it be any different for an ASIC? Yeah, that's where my head is at so far with the mining, with the mining thing. And then the next thing you need to take into consideration is also like your opportunity cost and how much hash power. Because you know the thing is, you have to also measure it in Bitcoin. When evaluating a miner, if it's a good purchase, you have to look at the hash rate and how it relates to how much Bitcoin it will actually mine. If you're looking at it in straight dollars, in my opinion, that's a bad move. Because, so like, let's say you're gonna buy a miner, right? And because of the hash rate, it's only gonna mine like 1 Bitcoin a year, right? But in order to mine that 1 Bitcoin a year, you have to spend 2 Bitcoin. You know, so it would take you 2 years of mining, assuming nothing goes wrong, in order to break even on that in terms of Bitcoin value. And that's what you want to do when you mine. You want to gain on Bitcoin. Now, we're probably not talking about hash rates where we're going to be mining entire Bitcoins, but I just kind of like said it like that to simplify it a little bit. But, you know, you can change the numbers to fit your specific situation. Because, you know, a good example is just kind of like these new pack USB miners. These new pack USB miners will never probably mine what they cost in terms of dollars. Like, I don't think it's gonna, I mean, in terms of the Bitcoin that you could buy with it today. So it's like, if you get a new pack USB today, it could cost you anywhere from like 120 to like $200, and it's never gonna mine that. Like, if you were to just spend your money on Bitcoin and hold that for like 10 years, or if you like took this new pack USB miner and mined for 10 years, it wouldn't catch up. Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I don't think so. Because I feel like that the device has a different purpose, because I got into it and I got more, you know, because I think that in terms of actual dollars, you know, if these things are making a couple of Satoshis a day, it doesn't really matter if a Satoshi goes to $1, then these things are kind of killing it. Even if they go to a penny, like it's killing it. You know, right now we got about like 3,000 Satoshis to the penny. You know, that's what I'm saying. I think it's still early. It's still super early. In the future, like right now, it's like if we go like on Amazon.com and you look at some old ASICs and you look at the reviews, the amount of Bitcoin that these guys were mining is ridiculous. And that's kind of like how I feel people are going to look back at this video and be like, yo, this guy was over here mining like wild amounts of Bitcoin with like almost like little to no hash power. And little to no actual electricity. Like, this guy was getting this shit fucking like almost for free. And in that sense, I think it's worth it, because it's a different way to get non-KYC Satoshis. If you mine with a pool, even if you're not, even if you don't have a big hash rate, a hash is a hash. You're gonna get something. And eventually, if Bitcoin does grow enough, then those Satoshis will be worth something, and you could probably cash them out. Because essentially it's just like they're gonna have to make it where you have to move smaller amounts off chain or off to a different wallet. It wouldn't make sense for them to keep the withdrawal so high if the actual value of a Satoshi is that much higher. And you know, I'm also hoping that in the future people are going to be able to do Lightning withdrawals for mining rewards. I feel like that's something we absolutely need. I actually think that that's super crucial because I think that that's actually an attack vector. I think Shinobi, this dude on Twitter, mentioned it. He said that mining pools were a mistake, and it's because, like, if the government realizes that they kind of like provide some sort of custody, then that's an issue. And I'm like, yo, I kind of I don't know enough about it to agree with it 100%, but I think that that's a valid critique, and we should work on, more people should talk about it. More people should be working on, like give miners their money, give them access to it. It's just like, or like, force us to withdraw it almost immediately, and that becomes less of a potential issue. So what are some other things that you need to take into account when thinking about mining? The difficulty adjustment, and just in the entire way that can affect your business. It can be good, it could be bad. It's like, essentially, the more people that mine, the harder it gets to mine, and the less money you make. If more people, and that's kind of like regulated by the Bitcoin price. If the Bitcoin price is really high, you're gonna get a lot of people that are just gonna be mining. You can have a whole bunch of people that have older ASICs that they're gonna be mining. They're gonna turn them on because it's profitable to mine again, and those are things. There's so many things that you have to take into account when mining Bitcoin. It's kind of crazy. You got to be realistic about your parts. They could break. A lot of times people want to buy these Antminer S9s now because they're at a good price, but they're also a little bit old, and maybe they will ROI faster. But then, what's your opportunity cost? You're gonna have a device that's already a couple years old, and then you just ROI'd like in 8 months, and then that hash rate, how profitable is it going to be? How long can you have that running with no issues for? Because then if you got to do a repair on it, are you profitable then? How much longer do you have to run the machine to keep mining? You got to have really, really cheap power in order to be able to run some of that. And that's another thing. You need to know about electricity. One of the things I actually just found out was a lot of these hobby miners use 6-pin PCIe connectors. And I was, I wanted to get a power supply for it, but power supplies is kind of expensive. But I got this server power supply. It was $17. Got a little thing called a breakout board for it, and it was a nice way to get around 1,000 watts of 90% efficiency power for $40. It's crazy. So just know that with mining, you do have to have a little bit of ingenuity. You can't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Also keep in mind that these are ASICs. These are computers specifically made to mine Bitcoin. If the Bitcoin price does shoot up, the value of these shoots up because you can't really make more out of nowhere. These are the only money printers. So it's very, very speculative in the same way that Bitcoin is a little bit speculative, but I have them running. I think it's so cool. Even if you have, I think right now, after my overclocking escapade, I got this whole setup pushing 5 terahashes locally, which is pretty good because I think I'm pushing that for under under 500 watts, which is pretty sick to me. We'll see where that goes, and this video is getting kind of long. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys know I hate asking. I'm sorry if the energy felt a little bit off on this video. I recorded it about 3 or 4 times, and I lost the copies of all of them. So I think my voice is starting to give out too. This is JTalks Crypto, and I'm signing off.